Oh, Donnie's talking. He just never shuts up. And I just sat back. I watched the show.
45 minutes in front of a mirror. I banged it. I got it. I bang on. What I meant was I bang on. I got it.
Okay. He's looking resplendent today for our YouTube channel. It is Rick Dhaliwal, one half of Donnie and Dolly. The team, weekdays 10 to noon on Czech Television or Friday regular Canucks Insider. And someone who will be seeing at the LEC tonight for the big Connor Bedard showdown, Pats and Giants, North Vancouver.
We won't see him. He's going to be sequestered in the owner's suite. We're not going to be able to, he's going to be hobnobbing with the big wigs.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be with the people.
I'm in the owner's suite. Donnie and I, we're in there. Big game, Regina. Hey, this kid, on a serious note, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver, Victoria, Kelowna sold out. Kamloops almost sold out. They're going to sell out any day. I think they're down to standing room only. Prince George, little ways to go, but it's a week away, 60% sold. You know, Ron Toigo told me this morning he has never seen a kid. And Toigo's not just with the Giants. He goes back to owning the Tri-City Americans. He's never seen a kid that has done something like this. You know, come out in a BC tour from a Saskatchewan team and sell out every rink. This is incredible. This is great.
Did Gilbert Brulé sell out rinks when he was touring around?
No, he did not. No, he did not. Gilbert Brulé did not do this. Now, we have to look at it differently because Gilbert Brulé was in the BC division. This guy's coming from Regina, so there is a bit of a difference.
It's more of a rarity.
You only get to see him once, so that's a big difference. If Brulé was back east coming into Vancouver, I think he would have sold out. But you know what this kid's doing is really good. It's good for the Western Hockey League. And, you know, one of the leagues that was hit hardest because of COVID was the the Western Hockey League. Well, and the BC Hockey League, too. All junior league teams across Canada really suffered during...
But more travel with these teams, so it was a lot harder, you know. The Ontario League, you don't have as much travel.
Yeah, budgets are hot. Hey, guys, I go and get the budget of a Western Hockey League team in the 90s, and now go look at a budget. I got a pretty good idea what Ron Toigo's budget is. It's a pretty big number, guys. You know, junior teams are now going for 15, 20, 25, 30 million. It's a big, big financial commitment.
Well, and here's the thing people don't realize, and I didn't even realize it until I looked into it a little more deeply.
Yeah.
The Western Hockey League just hasn't had this profile of player before.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, guys, if I had to ask you, just off the top of your head, last Western Hockey League player to go first overall in the draft?
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 211 in Edmonton.
Very good. Very good. 2011. Guy before that, Rick?
First overall? Ooh.
Chris Phillips in 96, and really one of the most nondescript first-rounders ever.
So,
defenseman who had a very nice career.
Ooh.
I mean, Modano in 88 obviously was an incredible talent, and of course that was the year
Trevor was right behind him.
Exactly. Trevor.
They had
so the WHL had the 88 Modano and Trevor Linden draft, which was fantastic, but the pure prodigies, the phenoms, have really come from the Ontario and the Quebec League, or Europe or collegiate hockey or elsewhere.
Well, Europeans. There's so many Europeans going. And the Americans. Don't forget, the Americans are coming on, guys.
Yeah.
The Americans in the last 10 years, go look at the first round of the National Hockey League draft. It's become a global game. But I will say this. Back in the 80s, going to Queen's Park and seeing Cliff Ronning get 180 points or 150 or 60, and there was 6 or 7 or 8 Bruins who had over a point a game. Now, Matt and Blake, you barely got 1 or 2 or 3 guys max who get a point a game anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Back to Rick Ferraro with the Wheat Kings too. I wonder if the WHL's reputation got away on them a little bit, guys. We all know the WHL was the bruiser league. You know, you wanted your stay at home. You know,
tough guys.
You know, but even the guys that didn't even make it, like the Griffin Reinhardts of the world. You know, stay at home, rugged defensemen. But as a result, maybe they didn't propagate the skill, and it's taken a while for the skill to come to the WHL.
This kid's got skill.
Yeah.
This kid, we ran a bunch of goals by Connor McDavid today on the show, And this kid's got skill. He's got skill he's unbelievable. He's going to be a good one.
He's got skill up the yin-yang, Ricky? Would you say it's up the yin-yang?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Answer me our Bodog poll question. Would you trade 2 members of the Canucks core for Connor Bedard?
Yeah, that's a great question, by the way. It's tough because if you're trading for Connor Bedard to trade, you're not saying would you tank for him?
No, it would have to be at the draft, pick. Right? Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay. You know what? Judging by this core, and we've been guys, this core hasn't done much in the last 5 or 6 years. So when you got a generational player, I don't think any of the core is generational. So if you got a shot at a generational player, as what they're all saying is generational, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right, buddy, let's get into it. And speaking of the core and the captain, Bo Horvat remains unsigned. I saw or heard Elliot Friedman say earlier in the week he's getting a little bit of pushback from Canucks management on the Horvat thing. I heard Dragger yesterday on the Rain Dregs Hockey podcast saying, look, the priority remains to re-sign Bo, particularly with the season that he's having. And gosh, the price tag goes up every week when we talk to you here. What's the latest on Bo as far as you can tell?
Well, first of all, I told you guys last week, both sides still want to get it done. I got no indication that Bo doesn't want to re-sign in Vancouver. I got no indication that the Canucks don't want to re-sign him. They still want to get it done. I told you that, and I told you the first week of February is the pressure point to move this guy. Up till then, there's a lot of time to figure it out. How do you do the deal, though? We know that he's going to cost a ton of money. We know the price ain't going down. We know he's tied for the NHL lead in goals. We know him and his agent, Pat Morris. I talked to Pat yesterday. We know that they're in a very good position. Pat's in a very good position. He can sit back, And the other thing, and I've told you guys this for weeks, if he does hit the free agent market, guys, he's going to be either
get paid.
top. He's going to hold it a second. He's going to be. There's not 10 other top centers available on July 1st. It's him and Dylan Larkin. So he's going to be in a small group of top centers available on July 1st. He's in a very good situation. I don't see the urgency from Vancouver right now. I don't see it, but I have no indication that either side doesn't want to get this done. But by the same token, we haven't heard of a lot of contract talks. We haven't heard of any closeness in talks. We haven't heard any of that stuff. No one's reported that. So it's a process. Yep. Jim Rutherford is a very patient man, and I think he's going to show you his patience on the Bo Horvat situation.
Well, and as we learned with the JT Miller matter, things can change on a dime. And, of course, the owner's whim is also an agent and change with this franchise from time to time. Why didn't they meet in Toronto? Dreger brought that up this week. Why didn't Pat Morris and the Canucks brass meet when they were through Toronto last weekend?
That's a good question. But that's not on the agent to call the Canucks and say, hey.
No, of course not. Okay,
but hold it a second. That's not Pat Morris looking at the schedule. Hey, hold it a second.
Was Pat disappointed when you talked to him yesterday? Was he disappointed that the Canucks brass didn't want to meet him?
I'm not going to discuss what Pat said to me. I will tell you this. When Pat Morris looked at the schedule and saw that the Vancouver Canucks and Bo Horvat were going to be in Toronto on a Saturday, Hockey Night in Canada, the whole 9 yards, clearly, obviously, he met with his client, Bo Horvat. It's not his job to call the Vancouver Canucks and say, hey, Jim, Patrick, you guys are in town on this date, let's meet. I don't think it's his job. Canucks are in Toronto. They could have called them up. They didn't. They had nothing on their itinerary that weekend. But don't forget, that was the Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, right? So Rutherford, Cami Granato, pretty busy. You got the Sedin twins, Luongo, you got the Canucks, Hockey Night in Canada, pretty busy schedule, I would say, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for the Vancouver Canucks who were there. The Hockey Hall of Fame, the whole 9 yards. I was just told that afternoon, I asked, are the Canucks meeting with Pat Morris? And I was told no. And I was told that there was no plans to meet with him. So that is a question, Matt, that's better suited to the Vancouver Canucks as to why they didn't meet. But it kind of tells you, too, right? The patience. Usually when you're far apart, sometimes that meeting face-to-face makes a big difference. I've seen it in other negotiations. We've seen the Canucks meet with agents in Sweden. Mike Gillis went over there. Dave Nonis, met we've seen them go to other places. We've seen it multiple times. But this time they elected not to. And it did surprise a lot of people, guys, that they didn't meet Pat Morris in Toronto.
No one's going to begrudge Pat Morris and Bo Horvat for seeking the most amount of money, the money that they're due and owed. But no one can also deny that the Canucks are in a bind with the salary cap, and especially after signing JT Miller. So you can say, hey, we don't need to ask for a hometown, or we can't give you a hometown discount. We deserve what we deserve. But effectively, if you stick to your guns and you don't grant any sort of hometown discount, you're effectively asking for a trade because you know that the Canucks can't do it. Unless the Canucks pull off the miracle and somehow find a way to trade Tyler Myers, and again, it would be a miracle. They're not trading OEL. They're not buying out OEL. All these sort of blocks on the salary cap are going to remain there for next year. And so they can have their cake and eat it too here publicly and say, we are not asking for a trade we want to sign. But effectively, the terms are to the point where they can't sign. They can't be signed.
Yeah. It's a tough negotiation, and not only is it a tough negotiation to begin with from the outset, the player leads the National Hockey League in scoring at the 20-game mark.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's getting tougher every single day to sign this guy. If he keeps on this torrid pace, I don't know if he is. Is he going to hit a stretch where he goes 10 or 12 games without a goal? I don't know. But I'll tell you something about Bo Horvat. The fact he went out and worked with Adam Oates on getting better is exactly what Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes do. They have traits of successful human beings, getting better every day, not satisfied with yesterday, want to be better than yesterday. What I've seen from Bo Horvat since he entered the NHL is a class act. Remember early on he couldn't skate. He's not a National Hockey League skater. And I remember there was a game in San Jose where he blew by the defenseman. I thought, holy smokes, he improved his skating. Okay, now he's improved his goal scoring. These are what elite athletes do. Elias Pettersson does it, Quinn Hughes does it, and Bo Horvat does it. They're never satisfied. They're always trying to get better every single day of the week. That's what you want from your draft picks, especially first rounders. Getting to the NHL isn't the hard part. Getting drafted isn't the hard part. The hard part is staying in the NHL year after year after year. And I'm going to say to you, I think that Bo Horvat being in the dressing room with the Sedin twins, it rubbed off on him because he saw those two guys every single day in practice. If you can't get better after being in a dressing room with the Sedin twins, you'll never get better.
One stat or another, he's improved every single season. Bo Horvat, he's found a way to get better. That's
traits of elite athletes, right there.
Yeah, let's go to the coach.
Moving on. Yes, go ahead, Blake.
Well, I was just going to say the one. There's two wild cards here. What do they do with Bo Horvat? Sign, trade, all that. The other thing is the coach, and much like the Horvat trade seemed like, it's destined to happen. Maybe not. The coaching thing, we thought it's destined to happen. Is it now a maybe not, Dolly, or is that still a 99.99%?
Oh, boy. I thought after watching Jim Rutherford look frustrated in the press box after that fifth goal on Monday, and I thought that's it. It's but again, I was told the next day that Jim Rutherford's a very patient man, and he's very calculated with every move he makes. He's a very smart guy. Look, all he has asked for since he got here, Jim Rutherford, is for his team to play a responsible 200-foot game, play the right way. They did not do that in the third period when they blew a 4-2 lead against Vegas. That's not the team in the third period that he wants to see. Now, they come back and collect 2 big points in Colorado. Good for Bruce. He and his agent know what's going on. It's not hard to read the tea leaves. You're in the Canadian market. Travis Green and Jim Benning, guys, 12 months ago, exact same boat. You're trying to, and we're almost coming up to Green and Benning's 1-year anniversary. Yeah, we're almost there, and
10 days
here
away.
We are again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not far away, guys. But when names like Rick Tocchet and Andrew Brunette leak out, adds fuel to the fire. The Canucks can't be happy with those names leaking out. But in today's day and age, it's tough.
Yeah. It's
tough. I got 3. I was sitting on my couch. I got 3 texts, one after another within an hour. Look into Tocchet. It's the world we live in. It's just an absolute world that we live in.
Yeah. Was Tocchet here recently, Rick?
No, he was not. That and this is where it's funny. I had a couple of high pro.
Go ahead.
Just hold on, let me finish. Rick Tocchet was not here. I had a couple of high-profile agents just text me and say, man, you guys, Vancouver is the worst. Just when it comes to the Canucks Twitter.
Honestly.
Like, this guy that tweeted that Tocchet was in town. Like, come on, man. The day he's tweeting it is when the LA Kings are in town.
Who is that?
No, hold it. I don't care. I'm not getting into names. But answer me one question. Are the Vancouver Canucks that stupid to have Rick Tocchet come to town on a game day? Are they really that stupid?
One would hope
like, are
not.
they really that dumb? No, I don't think they are. And here's the other thing. If you're going to meet Rick Tocchet, you're going to meet him in Seattle. You're going to meet him in California, or you're going to meet him somewhere else. But you're not doing it in a hot Canadian market. Look, do you guys remember Erik Karlsson? Someone took a picture of him at the airport. Oh, he's coming to Vancouver. He's coming to Vancouver. We live in such... Rick Tocchet sightings today. There were no Rick Tocchet sightings. He wasn't in Vancouver at all. At all.
Were any candidates here? Do you think they've talked to brought any candidates in? I think it was Elliott who reported they've been talking to other replacement candidates.
Well, sure. If you're the Canucks and you're going to make a coaching change at some point, or you're thinking of it, you got to talk to people. Like Matt, why is it a big deal that they're talking to people? If they do make a coaching change, you're not going to be sitting there and wait 4 days after to make a change. I think you got to get ahead of these things, right?
Well, but Rick, that is actually up for debate. I think we may have talked about it last Friday, but do you think it'll be a permanent replacement, or do you think there will be interim Mike Yeo for any period of time here if they move on Bruce?
Well, I wish I had the answers. The only people that know that are Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin. But it's look, Bruce is fighting for his job. I was happy. One thing I liked about that Colorado victory, guys, you know what I saw in the postgame when they showed the video of the belt going from Demko to Dries? I saw a lot of smiles. I saw a lot of guys clapping their hands.
Yeah, winning's fun.
Winning's fun. Yeah, winning's fun. And guess what? They're at the 20-game mark. I absolutely give the Vancouver Canucks a ton of credit for having 70 goals after 20 games. They're number 7 in the league in goals for. Their problem, guys, is goals against, 78. It's bad. Scoring at a high pace is great, but they need the old Demko back. It would make a massive difference. Imagine right now if Thatcher Demko was 9-2-2 instead of 2-9-2. And just think about that.
In points percentage, they're 27th in the league right now, and yet mathematically, they're, I believe, 3 points back of the second wildcard spot right now.
Yeah.
That's not math, pardon me. That's just proximity. The math is the points percentage and 27th in the league. That's more mathematical. Do you think truth serum injected into the Canucks management?
Yeah.
Do they want / think they can actually still make a push for the playoffs, or are they just figuring out the rebuild and figuring out sort of what next to be better next season?
Yeah, but then they just imagine for 1 second that question if they had hung on to that lead 4-2 against Vegas. If they would have hung on and won there, Blake, they'd be on a 4-game winning streak right now.
Yeah.
Right? They do just, it's like somebody said to me the other day, they do just enough all the time to avoid dropping to the bottom of the standings.
So what do they think in that room, though? Do they believe in themselves still for this season, or the management, not players? Yeah. Players always believe.
Well, the management is sitting back going, okay, there's something here. They're scoring goals. Scoring goals at the NHL level is not easy. It's hard to do, guys. Not every team can do it. The fact that Vancouver Canucks are the 7th highest scoring team in the NHL, yes, they got one of the top power plays, top 10 power play in the league. Goal scoring is not easy. It's tough to do. Go ask the bottom 10 teams that can't score in the NHL. They can score. They keep showing you glimpses. If they ever put it together, it'd be a better product. But they can't keep the puck out of their net, Blake. That's the number one issue, and the number one problem is defending. Look at Petrangelo's goal against Vegas.
Yeah,
why was he allowed to walk in from the point untouched? The middle of the ice. Every coach tells every team, protect the middle of the ice. It's the most important part of the ice in all 3 zones. Protect the middle of the ice in front of your goaltender. And Brock Besser, God bless him, he's on a great point scoring streak, but he didn't touch Pietrangelo. He just let him walk by, skate by, stand right in front of the net, and there's the winner.
Right.
If they can figure out, guys, their defending issues and get Demko back to the old Demko, I think they're just holding on to that. Can we turn it around? Can we turn it around? Because the goals for, guys, pretty damn impressive.
Does Tyler Myers have the Ottawa Senators on his no-trade list? Is that what happened with
glad,
this Myers-Zaitsev business?
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to say something here. J.P. Barry gets a big kick out of the Vancouver market and the Vancouver media. J.P. told me very nicely, nothing has happened. Myers was not asked to go to Ottawa. Myers was not asked. Let me repeat it again. He was not asked to go to Ottawa. Okay, it did the Canucks and Ottawa talk? Yes, they did. But it never got to Dan Milstein either on the Zaitsev side, because Milstein told me, he said they never asked us to waive to go to Vancouver. They never asked Myers to waive to go to Ottawa. Never.
But why would they have to waive? If
okay, but hold on, you still got to ask
that Vancouver and Ottawa are on the no-trade list if they have to waive.
But don't you have to ask? It never got to the calling the agent to ask.
If neither guy has the other team on the no-trade list, then they don't need anybody's permission. They just make the deal. No?
Yeah. But what I'm saying to you, it never got to the agents. There was nothing. But now one thing I'll tell you, I've had more than one person tell me this week that Vancouver and Ottawa are still talking, but I haven't got that confirmed. I have had more than one person say that don't be surprised if Vancouver and Ottawa talk again. But I mean, I'm still looking into that. But I've had more than one person tell me those talks. I understand what you're saying on the, the Myers-Zaitsev side. I'm just telling you what the agents are telling me.
Yeah.
That it never. I think they discussed it. I think Ottawa was following Vancouver around in the first 3 games of that Eastern road trip. There's definitely something there, guys. Let's be honest. Okay. But here's the thing on Tyler Myers. He's got a $5 million signing bonus in July 1st. That causes a few little problems, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes it hard. But I will tell you something.
But if you plan on holding on to the player, it doesn't make a difference, guys. I mean, if you're committing to paying that player for that cap hit, how that player is paid that cap hit, whether it's up front or not, I don't think that should matter. If you're trading for Tyler Myers with the term remaining, I'm guessing you're trading with the assumption that you're going to pay him out for the rest of the term. So whether it's in signing bonus or salary, I don't think it matters at that point.
If he's available before the deadline, he's going to be a popular guy. And July 2nd, I know one thing, he's going to be very popular on July 2nd, Tyler Myers. And because then he's heading into the final year of his deal. I'm going to guess the Canucks are probably looking for a player in return on the final year of their deal this year, because Myers has only got $1 million in real money next year, I think.
That's right.
Then the bonus is gone July 1st. July 2nd, Tyler Myers
becomes
very attractive to every single team in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's if he's not already attractive by the trade deadline, because he is the right shot defenseman, and they'll be contenders. They're looking for that if they can make the money work. Ricky, we got to run.
And quickly, if the Canucks get rid of his $6 million cap, and the other thing I heard on Horvat is, can the Canucks move a contract to free up some money to sign Bo?
There you go.
So there's a lot of that, and maybe one reason they're being patient is they're trying to, free up that cap space to get Bo done. Just a lot of, I will say this on Bo, a lot of scenarios out there. Be patient. I don't think you're going to see a resolution of this any day soon, but a lot of stuff going on.
Thank you, Ricky. You're the best. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up next Friday.
Adios, amigos.